To another Straight Up Tuesday tip. I'm 𝗤𝘃𝗀𝘀, licensed agent with Second City Real Estate. With me as always is 𝗬𝘃𝗲𝗀𝗵𝗁, founder and owner of 𝗤𝘃𝗱𝗰. And with us for, I believe this is the 5th time, and he will be a 5-time champ.
Oh, no way. 5-time.
My attorney, my buddy, 𝗬𝘃𝗲𝗀𝗵𝗁 from Lavelle Law. Chance, welcome back.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be back.
We will, oh man, you coincidentally just said be back is our other attorney. That's funny.
Be back.
All right, so Chance, we'll get your award ceremony straightened out, get you your nice little plaque like the other 5-timers. But today, we don't have enough time to go into all details, and this is not an all-encompassing list, but we want to point out 5 things that every investor on the buy side should be aware of when they're going into attorney review. These are 5 items that should be addressed in the attorney review letter to the seller. So Chance, I'm going to turn it over to you. And again, this is not all encompassing. We're not going to be able to go into a lot of detail on all these due to time constraints. So we'll leave a little bit of a cliffhanger here. These are 5 that you should be aware of, either reaching out to have someone like Chance represent you or to your own attorney, making sure that these are in your attorney review letter to the seller.
Cool.
Number 5, let's go.
We'll start with the most obvious one. The items that pop up on the inspection. If there's anything that's in need of serious repairs, we're going to ask the seller to either remedy those or provide you a credit so that you can take care of them after you have become the new owner.
Yeah, straightforward. If you're buying as is, you're not going to have that availability, but everything with the inspection items, make sure it gets knocked out and it's clearly labeled, nothing verbal, everything in writing.
Number 4, go.
Yeah. Number 4, we're going to want to see these current leases if you're buying a multifamily property. We want a current rent roll. We want to see if any tenants are behind on rent. We want to be aware of what the current ledger is. If there's any current service contracts out there, we want to know what your total costs are for owning this property month to month.
Got it.
Yeah, it's definitely important, especially with if you're in Cook County or you get, this is the point where you discover if the tenant you're inheriting is crap or not. This is the trigger here. So
yeah, and we explicitly write out as well, no renewals, right? The seller is not allowed to renew any of the leases, because otherwise he can take every one of those tenants, if they're on low, they're under market, he can lock them in for 3 years at that rate and you are screwed.
Absolutely. We also want to know if there's any landscaping, management contracts, laundry contracts. If you're going to be bringing in your own services, we need to get those canceled before we actually close.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 units or above as well, you have the scavenger. Oh man, I think that was number 3. I think we just mix and match there.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come up with another
one.
Was
that number 3? All right, not a problem. Number 3, we're going to talk about water and zoning certs. These are items that you're supposed to get at closing, especially if you're closing in the city of Chicago. We need to know that water bill has been paid in full so that you're not hit with any surprise charges. The second one is that zoning cert. If you're buying a 4-unit building, we want to know it's legally a 4-unit building, not that you've got 3 legal units and a basement that is not quite up to snuff.
If there's a questionable unit that's not up to snuff or a legal unit, do you write in there that this is subject to that 4th unit being on zoning? Can you do that?
Absolutely. That'll give us some leverage possibly to negotiate if that comes back as a 3-unit and we're trying to buy a 4.
Number 2.
Let's see. Number 2, security deposits. Obviously in the city of Chicago, landlords tend to move away from keeping security deposits these days. But if there are tenants that have given the current owner security deposits, we need to make sure those get transferred to you at closing. If not, we can also request that the seller return those security deposits to the tenants prior to closing. That way you're not liable for any of those possible security deposit violations that may have arose prior to closing.
Yeah, quick comment on this. So if I understand the law correctly, let's say you had a mom and pop owner who had a security deposit, hasn't been paying interest. You take over the property, you keep the security deposit, you set it up in the right account, you do everything. They can still come after you for 3 times the security deposit because they didn't get the interest from the past 10 years and they hadn't gotten it on an annual basis, right? So you're on the hook for that. So even if you're going to keep a security deposit, best practice is to return it, get them to sign off that, this is where we're done here. And then you would take a new security deposit just to wipe clean the past 10 years or 12 years or whatever they had with the old owner. or just not take the security deposit at all. But I guess my point is always return the security deposit, because the odds of that mom and pop owner doing the interest every year is slim to none, and you're taking that on.
Drum roll. Number one,
we want to make sure there's no building code violations. We're going to check with the city, the county. We're going to check with the title report to make sure there's no ongoing court cases. If there are any open violations, I've had a lot of success working with the city to get those removed even after closing. For the most part, the city just wants these problems taken care of. They're not really looking to punish anyone. They just want to make sure people are living in a safe building.
Good stuff. Man, we flew through that.
Yeah.
That's
Could've
the
done a
quickest
top 10
attorney review letter ever. So each building, and to be crystal clear, each building is going to have their own little nuances, each deal. This is not your all-encompassing list, but these are things that are almost an absolute truth in every attorney review letter when purchasing a multifamily in Chicago.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's do a Chicago fact. And again, we can come up with a nice little cliffhanger. We'll have you back on to talk about these in detail. But Mark,
Fantastic.
who are we playing for?
All right, we're playing for Tim Johnsonham, and today's Chicago Fact is brought to you by Lavelle Law, coincidentally. So if we get the question right today, I'm not sure if Chance is exempt because he's sponsoring it, but he might throw it. But if we get it correct, Tim, we'll send you out a $50 gift card brought to you by Lavelle Law.
All right. So, man, we're recording this about a week after Sam Zell passed, and we never got him on the podcast, so I feel like a failure. That was one we'd reached out to several times. But for those who don't know, he went to Highland Park High, local Chicago. Which Big Ten university did Sam Zell attend? And your options are Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, or Michigan.
As a Badger myself, I'm going to go Wisconsin.
No, it's Michigan.
You knew that
never
one.
knew
Nice
that.
work.
I knew it from his book. He actually started buying his first lots or doing his first deals right in doing student housing on the campus there. So that's kind of how he got his go before he came and put his feet down here in Chicago. So awesome. Tim Johnsonham.
The victor. Nice work.
Yeah, Tim, you get the what's the book? What's the book called? So we can throw it out there. With Sam Zell's book.
I don't know, but it's awesome because he does the audio in it, and his voice is hilarious.
So it's even more sad now. So we'll put the link to it in the show notes. But Tim Johnsonham will send you out a $50 gift card brought to you by Chance and Lavelle Law. So if anybody has any questions or comments on today's episode, feel free to reply, or we can connect you directly with Chance if you're looking for an attorney you can work with. We'll put all that information in the show notes. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chance. And listeners, we will see you Thursday.
Mark, am I being too subtle? Name of the book.
There we go.
Thanks so much for having me. Again, guys, just have one quick plug. I'm on the professional board for a charity called Immerman Angels. They provide one-to-one cancer support for anyone that has cancer, family members that are taking care of someone that has cancer, previvors, survivors. They will match you up, whether or not you have cancer or if you're a caretaker, with somebody who's gone through a very similar situation, so that you really have a mentor, somebody you can talk to and get all the answers to the questions that only those people would have. We got one of our biggest fundraisers coming up next month, June 17th, over at Montrose Harbor. It is our annual brunch run, 5K and walk. We'll be kicking off 8:30 at Montrose Harbor. Once you're finished, you get a nice mimosa. We feed you breakfast, and it's a fantastic event every year. It'd be wonderful if people could join us.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Chance. Listeners, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.